So we will start with Valera and our product update. So Valera, go ahead.
Yes, so I prepared slides initially, but then I decided that, well, it's probably the best idea is to present new features is not in slides in PowerPoint, but with a course. So I created a course, and Casper, I will ask you to allow me to share my screen.
Yeah, I have to stop sharing mine. Yeah, you're able to share your screen now.
Yeah, do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, so basically I created a course about a short course about what kind of features we added recently and what is coming next. So here is a brief list, but I will go in small details just through the course. So let's start this course. And yeah, let's start with the new features that we introduced recently. And recently we introduced we were working on two main features and introduced them in the last month. So last 2 months. So the first one is compliancy with GDPR. So for those who are living and working in European Union, it should be familiar. So it's a European Union General Data Protection Regulation that that actually is now officially launched after May 25th. And according to this law, all the tools should comply with specific rules like data processing agreements and that the tool should allow users to, for example, know what data we store on our site, how this data will be processed. So also users should give their consent that they agree that their user data will be treated in this way, and of course, if needed, to have their data deleted, and a lot of other things. I won't go into the details, but I'm happy to announce that actually we are GDPR compliant. So we are fully GDPR compliant. So which is great. So and that also gives a lot of certainty to our users that your data will be treated in a right way. That we really follow the best practices in privacy and protecting your data and making sure that everything is secure. So this is the first big feature that we are working on.
Small question, Valerie. Will we share this course with everybody so they can read the details later on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, another feature that actually it's one of the most requested features that we also introduced recently is certificates. So we got a lot of requests about certificates, and finally they are in Easygenerator. So basically that means that right now, if you pass a course in Easygenerator, there is an option to download the certificate at the end of the course. So by clicking Submit Results and Download Certificate button, you will get a PDF file with the following information. So who passed the course, what was the score, the title of the course. So it's like a confirmation that you mastered specific learning objectives. And yeah, so you can always, because this certificate is something that you can download in a PDF format, it can be always with you. You can also post that in social media if you want. So very requested feature, and we are happy to introduce that. Also, right now we're collecting feedback from our users how we can even improve that. We already got a lot of feedback about branding that should be added here. So yeah, that's something that we are planning for later. And because it's a course, we also have some questions in the course that we should answer. So, and for example, there is a question, so how well do you know certificates feature? So I will try to answer that. So anonymous learners can get a certificate. So yeah, this is not true because you need to provide your credentials. So so the name can be attached to a certificate. So only logged in users can do that. So learners who logged in and have passed the course can get a certificate. This is true. That's indeed true. Then another statement is certificates can be only viewed at the end of the course and cannot be downloaded. So this is not true. So they can be viewed and downloaded at the end of the course, as I mentioned before. And yes, they can. Learners can download certificates in a PDF format, which is true. So let's try. Yes, this is correct answer. So let's go to the next features. So next, what I would like to show you is things that we improved in our product. And one of the things that we also added recently is we added Learning Objective Maker. So we integrated that into the course editor. So that means that right now when you create a learning objective, you can press Use Learning Objective Maker button, and our Learning Objective Maker tool will appear directly in the course editor, where you can create a learning objective with the help of this tool and just paste that with a one button click into your course. So this is another improvement that we added. Going next to improvements, we also improved the reuse sections feature. So now you can see that it's not only reused, but by hovering over this label, you can see how exact where it is reused. So which courses. So for example, if you would like to edit the title or maybe questions or content in this section, you can already know, like, okay, what courses will be affected by that change because the same section is used there. Yeah, and quick question in this section, like, okay, what's the correct sequence of steps in the Learning Objective Maker? So, and as this image suggests, you should always start with who. So who is the learner? Who is the persona of your learner? So the second one will be that what should they be able to accomplish? So with a verb, so it's what, and with what condition. So the third one will be how, and yeah, then you can just get your learning objective. So we call that LO. So let's try it, and yeah, this is the correct answer. And of course, it's we always ask, so what we are going to introduce in the next period of time. So also one of the very requested features is tags and categorization on the list of courses. So very soon, already like in 1-2 weeks, we are going to release it. So what you can do with that feature, you can add specific tags or metadata to your courses on your course list, and then filter your courses using these tags. So you will be able to filter that using the tags drop-down, also search that we have on the course list, and soon we will also add an overview of tags in the tree of content, so that you have on the left-hand side. So quite powerful feature for those users who use quite a lot of courses. So it will help you to add some structure to your course list. Yeah. So and another cool thing that we are going to add. So on our results tab, we now show given answers. We indicate given answers to for some question types, not all of them. So, but what we are going to do is to cover all question types with given answers, even such advanced ones as questions with images, so single choice, drag and drop text, and hotspot, and also fill in the blanks. So that means that you will be able, as an author or as a trainer, go to results and see what was exactly the given answer and what was the correct answer in this case for this particular learner. So as you can see in this fill in blank question, there was some incorrect incorrect answers, and you can see what exactly this learner answered. Same goes for example, drag and drop text. You see what the correct answers and what are incorrect answers, and the same features will be available for all question types. So this is what we will have. And yeah, last question in this course is to just find all the tags on the image below. So, and tags are these small labels that you have on the course list. So if I mark all of them, click submit, I got a correct answer. Let's go to results. And by the way, now I can download my certificate. So let's see how it looks. So okay, now it's downloaded in my browser. By the way, I can rate my course. I will give it a 10. A nice one. We'll submit it. And let's open, by the way, my certificate. And I see that, okay, Valera has successfully passed the course Easygenerator monthly update, July 2018, with a score of 100%. And by the way, one thing also on certificates, so to make sure that to avoid any cheating, each certificate goes with a specific link. So you can always click that link and see this certificate stored on our domain. So that means that the original certificate is always it can be found by that private link. So that's all from my side.
Okay, thank you, Valera. A couple of questions came in while you were presenting. So some positive things that are very exciting and things like that. But also, is this a feature that we customize or is it automatically?
And which features? Or
the certificate feature, sorry.
So if it can be customized. Yeah. Yeah, so as I mentioned, so this is the very first version that we launched, and so right now we're collecting feedback. So right now you can just enable that and it goes as it is, so with the current design and with the current structure. However, we already know that people would like, our users would like to add their own logo, their own background, change structure of the text. Yeah, so this is something that we are also considering for the next releases. So, but at this point of time, you have only like it goes as it is.
Okay, so Luane, does that answer your question? Because you added that your question is about feedback, so I'm not completely sure if we covered that. So let us know in the chat if not. We also have a question from Poland, I see. Is it an option that after the employee finishes his training, the certificate is sent to the administrator?
Oh yeah, so yeah, also good question. Yeah, right now it's not something that can be done automatically, but yeah, so of course manually learners can send that to admins, but it's again not something that we have at the moment. And this is a good suggestion, and it's something that we will also consider and discuss in our product team. So
it will be on the idea list.
Yes, it will be on idea list.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Thanks for the feedback.
Okay, I think those were the questions that came in about your presentation. So let me share my screen again.
Yep, please.
And so I can skip all your presentation part. And, oh, here it is. So then the second part will be presented by Danielle Walker. She is the Director of Solution Development at Nielsen. Nielsen is a global data measurement company with 40,000 or over 40,000 employees in more than 100 countries. And they're using Easygenerator since 2014. So they have a lot of experience. I mixed up the order. So Danielle, take it away.
Hello, thank you, Casper. So glad to be here to meet the users this month. And excited to share a little bit of the best practices that we have here at Nielsen. So we have been using Easygenerator for a few years and have definitely come to some certain understandings over time. Very, very helpful. So I'll just walk through them and kind of explain them out a little bit more as to how we use these 3 best practices at Nielsen. So we, one thing that I've taken time to do is to understand our users. So at Nielsen, we really have 2 different personas of users that use Easygenerator. We have one, which is people with some learning and design background and expertise that might use other tools or might have created learning previously. And so they come with that base level of understanding. Those will be more of our core users or our expert users at Nielsen. And then Easygenerator is a tool that we've made available to anyone across the business who needs to create training. So we do have a second set of users that we call the subject matter experts. They're people who know things about various different businesses in our company at Nielsen, but do not have any experience of creating learning. So we title them our subject matter experts, and we've realized that we need to do a little bit more to provide them some background on how to create learning and some basic learning and design principles to get them to where they can create learning more fluidly and really understand what they're doing to be able to get started. And so that kind of takes us into step 2 of meeting them where they're at. So I know that there is various different things that these 2 users need. Again, our expert users, they certainly need support. They need the camaraderie amongst each other. They need more things about the advanced tools. So we provide some talks and some question and answer sessions with those users to talk to them about the advanced measures of the tools and have found ways to support them. And the broad portion of our users are those subject matter experts who come from the business, and their needs are different. That they really need to understand basic learning and design principles. They need to understand how to apply those principles to the training that they are creating. And they really need to know how to get started. So in some cases, their needs are to determine if what they want to do is really to create learning at all. Or in some cases, it might not be to use Easygenerator, but it might be to create a resource document that just is a one-pager that provides people touch points, but they don't need formal learning. So we have a tool behind the scenes that we pair up with Easygenerator that at Nielsen we call My Training Builder. And this tool allows people to go in and kind of just figure out where they want to get started and what they need to do to create learning or to address the needs that they have. And that helps the beginning users, the subject matter experts, get basic principles about learning design. We will be very, very soon promoting the Learning Objective Builder because that will certainly help them just as well in being able to create those learning objectives more fluidly, as well as determine the needs of the business units. So they can get some basic on how to create learning, best practices, networking with each other, and do things like that. And that really leads me into that third point of addressing their needs. So we do have a user forum that is on our social media platform, Google+, where we do allow users to ask questions to each other and communicate amongst each other. So that allows them to, address their needs, however those needs are. And then I am also kind of the support desk at Nielsen. So if there is, it's very basic, like one-off requests or I'm really lost. A lot of those are, I'm really lost, please help. Then I can help consult with those users and figure out, okay, where are we at? Where do we want to get started? And how do we get the learning built or get the learning built and designed that will help address the needs of the business and help them upskill themselves on how to do basic learning design so that their learning does meet suitable objectives at Nielsen.
Okay, thank you. I assume you that was it, Danielle?
Yes, that is. I didn't know if I didn't have my chat open, so I thought that maybe a question came in. Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think we have a question right now. So one thing I noticed, which is really important what you said about before you start creating your e-learning, consider if that is the best solution for your problem. So although we are an e-learning company, we really believe in blended approaches, and indeed sometimes e-learning is not the best solutions, but maybe another form of learning or training. So I really like that because it's better not to create learning than create learning for the wrong purpose. Sort of like the same rule we have as a learning objective maker. So if you can't create an objective for your course, don't start building it. So be really strict in that. So I like that lesson. Thank you. Okay, so then we go to the third part. And the third part, wait a minute, here we are, is the Q&A session. So you can ask us any question. So how can I do something in Easygenerator? You can ask questions about features you're missing. Valera's in the call to answer that. Didactical questions, strategic questions, how to employ it, or anything you can come up with. So the only thing you have to do is put your questions into the chat, and we will pick them up. So feel free to ask anything, and then we're happy to answer. So by the way, before we start answering questions, this is the very first time we do this, so it is also something that we are trying out. So I will ask you at the end to fill in a short survey and give us feedback on the things that you like and that you don't like, and so we can improve. So definitely we can do things in a better way, but this is our first attempt at this. So I think I see the first questions coming in the chat, so that is really cool. So I think the first question is probably a question for Valera. So can learning objectives be available for learners to view as well as the author? Valera, can you answer that question?
Yes, it's a good question. Thank you, Paul. So this is already that we are planning and working on. So right now we are working on a completely new version of our simple course template where learning objectives will be indicated. So for now, the new version of a new simple course is in progress and will be available near the fourth quarter of this year. However, so it's something that we are considering now as well, is if we should add that into the existing simple course template, so to make it available for people before the new version of the simple course is live. So I don't have, unfortunately, an ETA, so any date attached to that feature. But yeah, it's something that we will add definitely this year. The question is if it's something that we are going to add in the next couple of months, or if it will be closer to the end of the year.
Okay, thank you. And by the way, the simple course redesign, as we call it, so it's a completely new interface for the courses. It's really beautiful. It has a better UI, and it had a lot of other improvements, like, for example, the learning objectives. I see that Olga also has something to say about this.
Yep, I was going to answer the next question about the learning objective maker. Should I start right now?
Yeah, I think it's connected. So therefore,
Yeah.
because the question is, I don't discover where the objectives are used. But before you answer, I will first just quickly repeat the answer of Valera, because that's also being asked. So we will add learning objectives to the new template that we're developing, which will be ready in the second half of the year. We are considering adding it to the existing templates as well, but we're not certain yet when that will be done. And I think that is the essence of the answer. So Olga, go ahead for the question on what is being done with the objectives.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Just Casper.
I have to stop sharing. Yeah, go ahead.
Now.
Yep.
Here is the course created in Easygenerator, and under the first section you see the learning objective that I've just created and added here. Right now, the learning objectives are displayed only for you as the course owner and not for your learners. But as mentioned before, that in the new simple course template, the learning objectives will be available for learners too, right? This is the question to Valery or Kasper.
Yes, so this is what we just discussed, and Kasper also answered. So it will be this year. So it's still the question is about the date, exact date this year, but it's coming.
Okay.
So right now, the basic aim of the learning objectives is to help you as the author to provide better content and to create better questions that will help to evaluate whether the learning objective has been achieved or not. So it's just for you to make sure the content is useful and appropriate.
That's completely correct. I think that is really important okay, so I will share my screen. We can continue. So we have a couple of more questions, I think, coming in from Hershey. So if we create a quiz only in Easygenerator, has any thought been given to providing basic psychometric data on the responses, percentage correct, things like that? I would like to answer that. I have a history in questions. I used to be the question mark partner in the Netherlands, so I know something about that. So the answer is yes. So the problem is we can only do that for courses where the results are being tracked and traced inside Easygenerator. So if you track and trace your results in your learning management system, that is completely separated from Easygenerator. So we don't have access to that at all. So we can't process that or do anything with that. But the results that are stored inside Easygenerator from the learners will provide you a lot of information. So one of the innovations we're looking at is using the data of the learners to sort of give you advice as an author. So that is not only on questions where we could provide the psychometric data, so and point out which questions are correct or which distractors are maybe not correct. But it also goes, for example, for content pages. So if you have a content page with a video that takes 5 minutes and people on average only look 30 minutes or 30 seconds on it, something is wrong. So we are looking at ways to sort of exploit the data we have from the learners and connect it back to you as an author and give you advice on how you're doing, how well your questions are constructed, and how well your course is doing. So that is something that we will come a bit later. So it's not planned yet, but it's one of the things that we are talking about and that we definitely want to do in the long run. So I see a question from Yoni. You put a question in from Roger. Oh yeah, here it is. Is it possible at the end of a course or test the home button pops the screen because now you have to scroll down the page twice? Very confusing for participants. So at the end of an assessment, so let me see if I can get that question completely. So you have an assessment, so there's a long list of questions, then you submit it, and then you see the result page. So I don't know exactly what you're doing. Can you explain a bit more, or maybe one of the others are understanding this problem? No? Roger, can you explain?
Yes, I can explain it because when you finish the course or the assessment, and then you admit the results, and after that stadium you get a black page in the screen, and then you have to scroll down the page, and then you see a home button. But you have to scroll. Yeah, how do you call it in English?
I understand. So that is.
You have to use the outer right scroll, and that's very confusing for participants because they don't close the course correctly.
I understand. I think
results are not always coming in the learners' results.
Okay, so that's probably that has to do with the fact that you run the courses in a browser and we can't close the browser. Valera, can you maybe elaborate a bit on that? Does it sound familiar, or does it sound like a bug?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe Casper, may I share my screen so we can?
Yes, of course.
And I can just, for example, on an example of a course, we can just try that out together. Okay, so right now, for example, I have a course, and when I'm taking it, Roger, could you please guide me so how exactly I can reproduce it?
Oh, you have to click Submit Results.
And
then
what should I do now?
Yeah, you have to confirm that. So click Submit the results again, I think. But then you should be done. So
yeah, I'm done. I'm like asked about my experience.
Yeah. So
but
Roger, can you explain?
I'm not sure I got the question.
What I see here is what I always see too, but sometimes, and I don't know if it's a bug or a fault that we prohibited, the screen turns black. Perhaps Cornelis, my colleague, can also answer this, because
but I think that's
together with it.
So we all agree that users should not see a black screen. So something is wrong, either and maybe on our side, or it's a combination of Easygenerator and the browser. So I think that that's really something that we have to dive into a bit with the customer success team. So if you can share a screenshot with us and a description on how that happens, then we will try to find that.
Yes, Roger, please send us more information on the bug. We will try to reproduce it and troubleshoot it on our end. So definitely we will help you out. No worries. Just send us more information, maybe the screenshots or whatever.
I will make a screenshot the next time and I will send it to you if it happens again. Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else who is maybe recognizing this problem? We have a lot of users on the call, so maybe. So if you have, please put it in the chat. It can be helpful for us in solving it. Okay, so we have another question from Roger. Is it possible if somebody skip a film in a course that you can get a message or a warning or something? So, if you skip a part, you get a warning. So Alex, can you answer that?
Yes, thank you, Casper, and thank you, Roger, for your question. I want to clarify a bit. So do you want to get a notification as an admin, as a course owner, that someone has skipped a page or a video or a film, or you want to show a kind of notification to your learner that it can't be done, for example?
So it was again Roger with the question. Can you explain, Roger?
Yes, I hope. When you start the course, we have some sections with films. You have to see the film for the whole minute or the whole 2 minutes, but you can skip the film. So you can pause it and you can skip the film. So, and afterwards you have questions and the other sections, and then at the end you have 100% score, but you don't see the film for the whole time. That's what I ask is when it is possible to get a message or a warning or something if somebody skipped the film.
And a warning for the learner, or the learning for you as an author?
For me as an administrator or
Yeah, Valerie, can you please step in? So is it possible to implement a thing like that, so kind of notification for a course admin if the video is skipped?
Yeah, I think that, indeed, it's not something that we have in the moment. And Roger, could you please tell me a bit more about motivation? So why you need these kind of notifications and how it will work for you?
Okay, Valerie. It is important for us when we make an assessment or a course on Easygenerator. It's for us, how do you say it, to show when something happened in the working field afterwards by inspection that we have thought everybody the rules and the risks that are prohibited in the working field. And what if he skips some parts of films? Then we don't have 400% sure the how do you call it in English?
I understand. Can I answer that? Because I have an answer that is maybe a bit different. So first thing is that if somebody has the whole movie on his screen, there's no guarantee that he actually watched it. He can look at other screens, he can look at his smartphone or take the dog for a walk. So there's no guarantee there. And from a didactical perspective, we don't really want to sort of press people to watch the whole video. So what you should do is make sure you have questions in place that check whether or not people saw the whole movie. So check the important messages that you send out in a movie. And if they haven't watched the movie, they will not be able to answer the question. So that is the sort of the didactical answer to it. Make sure that you have proper questions in place to cover the whole movie. And the other thing is a bit related to what we said before about the data that we have. So this is the kind of data that we could feed back to you as an author, because it is interesting for you to know that nobody's watching the movie. So that is what we were talking about, that we are using the result data because we can see how long somebody's on that page. So we could report your 2-minute video is only being watched for 30 seconds. So you need to do something here, either on the video or on the behavior of your learners. So that is a warning that we can build in later on, but that will not be on a short term.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for the answer, Casper.
Yeah, okay. So let's see, we have a couple more, I think. So Paul is asking, any plans to allow feedback forms to be customizable so we can ask for specific feedback questions about the course? Paul, before we start answering that, can you elaborate a bit on that? Because we do have the NPS score and feedback questions at the end of the course, but I assume that's not sufficient. Can you explain us what you need extra?
Yeah, sure, Casper. So what I'm thinking is, what we find is people will rate the course, so that's great. They'll put quite a general sort of feedback comment in, but sometimes we think we'd quite like to prompt them about specific things that we're looking for feedback on. So you know, if we could put a question in around and just prompt them to give us feedback around specific items in the course, okay, we might get more granular feedback.
I understand. Okay, so it is about the NPS that we have at the end of the score, which is like, okay, and we ask a default question and you want to sort of customize that question or add extra questions to get more granular feedback. Okay, Valera, can you answer that? Are there plans for that?
Yeah, so we got this request from time to time, also from users, and so at the moment indeed it's not possible, and that it's something that we are considering to do. However, at the same time, what we suggest as a workaround to our users is that we have right now an open question, and basically what you can do as a workaround is to add one or more open questions at the end of the course, that where you can just ask people to give feedback. The only downside at the moment in this approach, in this workaround, is that open questions will affect score of your course. However, what we also get is that we have survey mode for some question types, including single choice, multiple choice, and statement. And we also ask to add this mode, so survey mode. So when you enable that, questions do not affect your score in a course. So we asked also to add this mode to open question, which may allow you to be really flexible and add just questions at the end of the course where you can get this feedback. And you already can see, for example, the given answers for open questions in the gradebook. So this is like a workaround, temporary workaround that I can suggest. But yeah, so it's something that we also considering, and it's on the idea list at the moment. and I see this is something that we are going to build at some point. Probably it's not something that we can build in the next 3 months. So for now, I can suggest this workaround.
Yeah, and the second part of your question, Paul, I can answer. So you're asking about adding timed content or other more interactive features in the tool. So we are looking at a way to embed HTML5 content, and currently we are investigating a website called H5P, which is an open source website with a lot of HTML5 interactions that you can use by default. And we hope to be able to integrate that into Easygenerator. We're currently looking at the commercial side of it and at the technical side. Things look good. It will be a tool where you have to pay extra for because it's a third-party solution, so there will be an extra charge for that. But we are currently in the process of working that out in detail. So then you would have things like that probably in the tool, so you can embed an element and that can trigger popping up text or images or videos at a certain point in time on your screen. And that's only like one. Also an alternative for the scenario question will be there, and there are like hundreds or even thousands of different kinds of elements there. So that's we can't make any promises, but we really hope to do that on a relatively short notice. So maybe in Q3 or Q4 of this year, depending on the outcome of the research we're currently finishing. Okay. So I see a lot of things coming in.
I will just interrupt shortly.
Okay,
So there's one question from Hershey, and this is also about the survey mode possibility. And Alex will answer that one now.
Okay, thank you.
So we stick to the survey mode for a bit more.
Yeah, thank you, Yoni, and thank you, Hershey, for your question. So now the survey mode is available only in 3 question types. So these are single choice, multiple choice, and statement. But as Valeri has said, we are going to implement survey mode into other question types soon. So so for now, I can send you more information only on 3 question types with the survey mode available.
Actually, can you hear me? Because my question was a little bit different. What I'm asking is, let's say I'm only using a multiple choice question. Am I able to have certain questions of that group be survey mode, or is it an all or nothing thing where they either all are survey or none are survey?
Yeah, thank you for clarification. So you enable or disable survey mode in each multiple choice question. So either all of them can be in survey mode or only one. So it's up to you to decide.
Okay.
Or a few. So it's like per question. So you decide which question should be survey mode and which question should not be survey mode.
Yeah, the idea is, for example, if you ask about people about their skills, there's no right or wrong. So then you switch to survey mode, and the next question can be again a question with a false or a true answer. Okay, thank you. So I see our plagiarism check application came across a text container on the internet with contents in our Easy Learning apps. Can you give some background? So not sure who asked that question.
Sorry, that was Roger who asked the question.
Okay, so Roger, the quick answer there is that if you are on the free plan, your courses will be indexed by Google. If you are a paying customer, that is not happening. So that should not be able to happen. So the only thing that I can imagine is that you created a course in the trial mode, and then it went into the free mode after you didn't upgrade directly, and maybe later on you started paying, but then they were indexed, your trial courses were indexed. That is also something maybe we will contact you anyway about the black screens. So I would like to know a bit more details about this, where it was found and what courses and when you created them. Because your content is completely secure and safe in Easygenerator and will not be indexed by anyone for all, and that goes for all paying customers, all plans from starter, plus and enterprise. So that is the only way that it can happen.
So I will add to this that we have 2 Rogers today in the call. So we have a Roger and a Roger M. So we will make sure that we correct the right person for the right question.
Okay. Okay, perfect. You have that registered?
Yes, I have that registered.
Thank you, Yoni. Okay, do we have other questions that we all have to answer, Yoni? As far as you see.
So there's one more. It's a suggestion. Today we have to enter a title to every section that we create, but sometimes I don't want to put this because it's a continuation. What do you think about making this field optional?
So I think that is one for Valera, because I think this is one of our of his favorites. So it's like removing sections at all, maybe. So maybe Valera, you can tell a bit about that.
Yeah, so in this case, thanks for asking this question. Good question. But also, could you please provide a bit background and context? Why exactly, for example, why you need to split content into sections that are like without names?
So Roger, can you either explain in the chat or switch on your microphone? Okay, I don't think we get the feedback right now. Is it possible for you, Valera, to give an answer based on the question that's in?
Yeah, so right now it's something that is not possible. So it's not possible. So the title of for sections is a required field. And what we are planning to do is to allow to just skip sections. So when you create a course, right now you have to create at least one section. But in Easygenerator, we are trying to simplify the process, and in some cases you don't need complex structure in your course. So we are planning to make sections not required, so you can just start your course by adding some content and create just a very small course without sections.
Okay, so there's an addition from Luciano. Sometimes I want to skip content, slip content because I want small sections. So it's low, you want the ordering, but you do not want to see a separate title. So I understand this. So it needs to be one thing, but it's more for the ordering perspective. So I think that's an interesting idea, but we don't have that on our roadmap. But I think that's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good idea, and yeah, something that we will put also on idea list, and we'll discuss with our product team like what kind of priority we can put to that, and yeah. So, but thanks for a good suggestion.
Okay, so a question from Paul. I think that is probably for you, Valera. So can you give us an update on team management features planned for managing co-authors, managing courses, media library, and multiple accounts? So basically all the corporate features that we are putting in team plan and enterprise plan.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. So at the moment, as you know, we provide the following features for organizations that you can invite members into your organization. So, and for example, what we can do is that we can enable a specific plan for your organizations that, for example, all the members automatically get specific like team plan or right now it's only available on the team plan. Also, we can enable that users with a specific email domain can be automatically added to organizations, and admins, so you can have multiple admins, and admins can see all the courses. They can see and manage also additional admins in the organization. What we are going to add and improve inside organizations these are features like corporate library that we are also considering. That means that as an admin, you will be able to define like some default assets for the library. So you can define default images that should be used that, for example, your company bought from a photo stock with a license. If you'd like to enable these images in all the accounts of your members, or specific videos or documents or audio files. And yeah, what we are also going to add to the team organization administration is some kind of a dashboard where you can see actually the how your organization is doing. So how many courses each member created, what how many web sessions each member has. So basically you can understand what's the pulse, what's the heartbeat of your organizations, and how healthy is your organizations and your members inside Easygenerator. So these things we are going to add in the next period of time in organizations.
Yeah, and we don't know exactly what we will do when. We will decide it on really shortly, but we did decide that a substantial part of our development team will work on these features for the coming period. So we already gave it sort of the highest priority and freed up resources. So we still have to decide which feature to pick up first. And but we are doing that in the coming weeks. Valera, as you can see, is sitting in our Dutch office. So that's one of the goals, to come up with the complete roadmap for the next quarter. And then we'll inform you on that in the next session. Okay, so I want to round it up. We're really close to the hour. So this is hopefully only the first of many. So the plan is to do it from now on every third Thursday of the month. So the next one will be August 16, then September 20, and then October 18. So if you want to be invited for that, by default, just drop us, and the fastest way is support@easygenerator.com, an email that you would like to be included in those sessions. But we also will send out separate reminders before every session. So you will be notified, and there will also be newsletter announcements. So please fill in our survey, because we really want to know how we did. It actually really does only take 2 minutes, and it is my birthday today. So it would be a great birthday present from you if you fill in the survey, and we can hear your feedback and learn from it, and create an even better section next year, or next month. So please fill it in. I will send you a link to the survey right after the call that you can fill in, and we really appreciate if you would do that. So for now, I want to thank all of you for participating. Thanks for the team for hosting this, and hopefully we will get a great response and do this many times.
By the way, Casper,
yeah.
I see one more question that maybe we can quickly answer in the chat. So it's about downloading results in CSV, and if it's possible to download results as PDF from a and this is like a request for legal audit. So it's very interesting. Thanks for asking these questions. That's very interesting perspective. So we haven't thought about results in PDF from that point of view. So it's something that also we will add to the idea list, and we will discuss with our product team. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that's it. So have a great day, and we'll see hopefully each other in a month, or maybe earlier if we have another session planned. So enjoy your day. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.